Hey droners, and welcome to this edition of Weekly Droner News. Yeah, I love it too. And today we're gonna be doing a lot of FAA stuff. Yeah, they're releasing a lot of new things, as well as DJI has leaked something new. Let's jump into it. All right, so I teased it in the beginning, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with the FAA. The first thing that FAA did, which they did a few days ago, was that they released a no-fly zone in 133 different military locations. Perfectly makes sense. I was actually pretty surprised that they hadn't done this already, but pretty much what they're saying is you can't fly 400 feet laterally around any of these 133 military locations because you shouldn't be flying over military locations. Normally there's a lot of air traffic, military air traffic, as well as, you know, secrets and stuff that you shouldn't be filming or seeing or whatever. So I think this is pretty good overall. So it looks like this is going to be the beginning of the FAA working with different areas of government to be able to start censoring certain areas or making it so certain areas cannot be flown over, which I am a fan of. I just want to make it so that it's public knowledge and so that drone pilots make it easy for us to know where we can and can't fly, and we'll be happy. Coming up next, in Switzerland, we have some really interesting developments going on with drones helping people. There are two hospitals that are 12 miles apart that are two of the busiest hospitals in Switzerland, and they have a problem with congestion and traffic to be able to move supplies or, you know, urgent things from one hospital to another. So why not go ahead and use a drone? I know a lot of other countries, including the US, Amazon, and you know, Amazon's not a country, but either way, a lot of people are trying to use drone deliveries and looking into the technology, whereas Switzerland is actually looking for an active application of that. They partnered with a California-based company, Maternet, to conduct 70 test flights last month. And the goal is to be able to make it so that these autonomously flown drones are super safe, super easy to use, and are really, really durable. They'll work. Even if they aren't, like I said, they're safe because they actually have a parachute system in each one of the drones that will deploy if there's any kind of critical failure and it starts to fall. It won't hurt anybody, which I think most drones should have anyway. And like I said, they're trying to make it easy so that, like I said, they're autonomous, they're flying from phones and tablets, just super easy stuff. And once again, drones helping people. I'm a fan. Coming up next, we have a story, once again based in Switzerland, of a Swiss tech company called Twingtech that has developed autonomous drones to capture wind energy. Now, this is really interesting because, you know, you think of wind energy and you think of turbines, but I also think of wind energy, and I always remember when I fly kites or when I've ever flown a kite before, you know, you get into a windy space, there's a lot of pull, there's a lot of energy there. And that's pretty much what they're generating here, is that they've created a technology that is movable. They can take this box and set it down. A drone will fly off the back and then like be tethered to like a kite string and then fly in a figure-8 pattern that pretty much, you know, collects energy, and it just winds it into the energy of the generator or whatever is on the bottom of the box. Now, a couple things that I don't understand about this is obviously there's huge benefits about it. First, huge benefits because you don't have to build a wind turbine. You can put this out in the ocean, on platforms, get all kind of wind energy. That's easy to understand. What I don't understand is how much energy that these things are generating. They don't say. And the other thing I don't understand is how they're going to transport the energy. So it's like, yo, you take these boxes that are movable and put them somewhere, and then it's like, yeah, look, it can generate all this energy. It's like, okay, what, do I have to go pick up the box now? Like, is there a wireless transmission of energy that we've invented that can go miles and miles? I don't know. Either way, I think this is really promising and hopefully something that we can figure out to make it a lot more efficient to gather wind energy. But for me, it's drones attempting to do good things, just with a little bit more work to do. Coming in at number 4, we have maps to streamline FAA applications. Now, by FAA applications, this is waiver applications, nighttime waivers, waivers to fly over people, waivers to fly for moving vehicles, just waivers to be able to do things that are restricted in Part 107 that we all know we're going to want to do eventually. Pretty interesting. Like on April 27th, the FAA is actually going to be releasing a series of maps. 200 maps will be released on April 27th of all of the airspace around all the airports and where you can and can't fly. Because right now you have Sky Vector, which is a very difficult thing to read, and if you haven't taken your Part 107, you have no idea what you're looking at. But this will be like supposedly a much easier tool that you can look and say, oh, this is what the airspace is, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, this is where I can fly, this is where I can't. This will help the FAA to be able to process the waivers because they're doing the same thing we're doing when it comes time to look at airspace and say if you're legally allowed to fly there or not, or what airspace you're in. So this is going to help them look at our applications and help us make the applications for waivers and say, oh look, not only am I applying to fly here, I can actually fly here because I'm going to be flying in G airspace, which if you don't know what that is, you got much to learn and I'll teach you. And last but definitely not least, like I mentioned in the beginning, we have a DJI drone that has been leaked. You may or may not have heard of it, but it's actually smaller than the Mavic. And I've heard rumors about a Mavic standard coming out, which this is not. This actually looks like a DJI racing drone, and it's called the Spark. It's really small. It looks like it's gonna be really, really fast. And like I said, it's their first attempt at the racing drone. Why not? I mean, they literally have every other kind of drone that you could really want. So why not go for the racing drones? So it looks pretty interesting. I mean, we'll see what it can do. Obviously, the guys who are the racing drone pilots are going to be the ones who really determine if this is something that's worth it or not. Because, you know, otherwise it's not really going to be something people buy, because I wouldn't buy a racing drone if I don't do drone racing. But that's just me. Who am I? Either way, I'm really excited to learn more about it, because this is possibly the step towards getting drones that are going to be under 0.55 pounds. So you won't actually have to register them. So if DJI starts making drones like that, then, you know, we could have a whole different ball game when it comes to the kind of camera drones or drones we can have flying. So stay tuned and keep an eye on what they're up to. Droners, thank you for checking out this edition of Droner News, and you should follow us on Instagram at @DronerOfficial. There's going to be some interesting stuff coming on there soon. Or if you want to see more videos like this one, you should click here, because we have a lot more Droner News. Or if you want to see the best intro video ever, bam, there it is. Also, go ahead and subscribe, because that is what allows us to do what we're doing. And as always, stay fly.